Hello guys, this is Rachel Brockman and I wanted to take a few moments to help you get oriented using your new learning management system, Schoology. I'm logged into my Schoology right now and up at the top we have got the navigation bar, and on the navigation bar there's several tools up here that you're going to be using pretty frequently. First one right over here is our district logo. If you ever need to get back to this main page right here, just click on the district logo and it should take you right back to your main page. It's always a good way to kind of get reset. The first tab on the navigation bar is courses. If you click on the courses, you're going to see 8 of your courses show up inside the drop-down menu. Now, if you are maybe a secondary teacher, you might have anywhere from 6 or 7 courses that are listed up here. You'll have one for each class period that you teach. If you are a specialist at one of our larger elementary schools, you might have 25 or so classes, but only the first 8 are going to be listed in this banner that drops down. If you need to see the rest of your classes, you're going to come right over here to this little link right here, My Courses, and you're going to click on that. And it'll bring up the whole list of the courses that you've been assigned to. Now you can change the order of the courses, and whatever 8 courses are at the top of this list are going to be the ones that are going to show up when that banner drops down. So if you have some courses that you use more frequently than others, or if you choose to merge your courses together so that you've got, you can just put an assignment in one and it shows up in all of your courses, which there'll be some other videos on this site to help you do that, then you can move those to the top, and that way you can get to those a little more quickly. To change the order of your courses, just click on Reorder Courses, and then you can drag and drop them in whatever order you wish. Just keep in mind that the top 8 on your list will be the ones that show up in that little menu from the drop down. The next tab right here is Groups. Groups are a little bit different than courses. Your courses are going to have your students in the course, and all the coursework that you assign them will also be inside that course. Groups are more eclectic, I suppose. So if you are a person that sponsors a club, or maybe you are a coach and you have a team, you can create a custom group and invite students or other staff members to it for you to share conversations or share resources. So it kind of functions the same way that your courses do. The 8 groups that you use most frequently, you'll want to have at the top of your list. You can reorder your groups by clicking on My Groups and clicking the Reorder button, and you can reorder them any way that you wish. The next tab is the Resources tab. And if you click on the Resources tab, it's going to take you to a library of resources that you've decided to save for yourself. So these can be resources that you have created, folders of information for students that you've created that you want to save to use year to year. So this is a great location just to keep frequently used, or any resources that you know you're going to use more than once. You're going to use them each year. Throw them in your resources, and then you'll be able to use them next year. A nice feature that Schoology has at the end of the school year is you can save your entire course in one folder in your resources at the end of the school year. So there is a separate video on the site that shows you how to do that, but just keep that in mind for the end of the school year. You'll be able to save your whole course, and it saves the folder structure and everything for you to reuse next year. You do not have the Tools tab, so don't worry about that. If you move over here to the right, though, you do have a search bar, and you can search for keywords for certain items that you've created. For the class that I taught, I'm going to put in the word Braille, and all the resources that I had that use the word Braille have popped up here. So you can put in any word for materials that you've created, and it should show up. Next is going to be different, apps that you can add to Schoology. And so if you click on this little icon, it'll take you to the App Center. Inside the App Center, there are pages and pages of apps, of resources that you can add for your students and for yourself. As soon as you set up Schoology, the first two that I would add is Google Drive Resource App and Google Drive Assignments. Most of the teachers at Trustful City Schools create most of their student materials inside Google Drive, so inside Google's suite of products. So you definitely want to go ahead and get these two added to your Schoology. And when you do that, it will ask you to connect the app to your Google account. So just be sure that you're connecting to your .org, your trustfulcityschools.org Google account, and not a personal account. But just know that, my goodness, there's Britannica has an app in here, Edpuzzle. There's just a whole bunch of resources for you to explore and provide for your students. Next, you have a calendar. This calendar will show any assignments that you have for your students. Let's get that to show up for us. There we go. There we go. And it'll show the due date on the calendar. It's just a quick way for you to kind of glance and see when things are due for your course. Next up here is kind of our messaging area where you can send a message to students or receive messages from students. When you do that, receive a message from a student or a colleague, you're going to see a yellow notification kind of over that envelope up there in the corner, and it'll have a number for the number of notifications that you have. So just click on it and you can open up your notification. If you need to reach out to a student, and one nice feature of Schoology is you can do that with any student in your school. You can click New Message, start typing the student's name, and any student that has that name, if you type John, every student named John will pop up. You choose the correct one, and then you can message your student. Just need to be sure to teach your students to check their notifications inside their Schoology every time they see a number pop up. Then over here, the notifications. This is for you, the teacher. Every time someone turns in something for you to grade, it will put a notification over here for you, just to let you know that a material has been turned in. Then you have your profile. If you click on it and go into your profile, you can edit certain information about you. For your students, you can drop in a picture by clicking Edit Picture, and just add a few things for them. Under your profile, you also have a Settings button. If you choose it, there's some additional settings that you can change inside here. So I encourage you to explore those as well. And while you're in here, you're definitely going to want to click on the Notifications tab. And here is where you can turn on and turn off which email notifications you get in your trustfulcityschools.com email. So I think the default for a lot of these is on. So you'll get email notifications every time a student turns in any materials, every time they message you. And if you want to turn all of that off, you can come in here and just turn those off. That way you won't have your email cluttered up with a whole bunch of notifications. Finally, you've got a place down here where you can log yourself out, and you'll want to get in the practice of doing that whenever you need to step away from your computer, just to make sure that you don't have students getting into anything that they shouldn't. A couple of other areas you're going to want to know about. If you go into courses and you select one of your courses, you can go in and you can add materials on the materials page. So it default opens to the materials page. And to start adding resources for your students, you just go to Add Materials, and from there you can choose what material you want to add for them. As a best practice, we really recommend that you organize the materials that you put in your course using folders. Most of our teachers do this using kind of a semester or trimester organization, or a weekly organization, where they might add a folder and they might name it week 1 and then put the dates out to the right, so that the students know which folder to go into for that week's materials. So we highly recommend that you come up with some sort of organizational system that makes sense, that your students can follow whenever they go into your course. When you're ready to add materials, if you can click Add Assignment. Once you get in there, you just put in the name of your assignment, any directions that you have. You can record a video or audio recording of your directions to help your students that might not read directions. And then if you have any assignments that you need to connect to it, any documents, you can click the Add Assignment from Google Drive that you set up earlier. And then you can do a search of Google Drive to find the document that you need, and you can connect that to the assignment. And it tells you right here, it creates a separate copy of that document for every single student. When they turn in the document, it will go into your Google Drive, so you'll be able to access it there. It'll also be able to be graded through Schoology. So just know that's how you kind of attach Google Documents to assignments for students. For category, you're going to be setting up your categories when you set up your gradebook in Schoology. There's a separate video that shows you how to do that, but you'll choose the category and you'll choose the grading period as well. And then down here you have some options. You can assign this to a single student, multiple students, or if you don't select this, it will assign it to all students. So this feature is a great way to differentiate for your students if you need to. And finally, this button right here, if you teach multiple courses of the same material and you would like to copy this assignment into multiple courses, so you only have to do it one time, you just click Copy to Courses and then put a check in the checkbox next to the courses that you want that assignment to drop into. Once you've done all of that, you can click Create. And we didn't name it, did we? Test, there we go. Click Create. And you should see your assignment show up on your materials page. On the left-hand side, we have some other links that are going to be important for you. If you check right here, this is the gradebook. As you make assignments, they are going to show up here across the top of your gradebook. And if you set up an automatic rubric inside Schoology, it'll auto grade the document for you and drop the grade in. There are quizzes that you can make. If I go to materials, add materials. You can build quizzes and tests and other summative assessments right inside of Schoology, and it lets you set up the key for grading it, and it'll drop the grade in the gradebook automatically for you. There's a separate video that shows you how to connect your Schoology gradebook to your Power Teacher Pro gradebook, which is the gradebook that the report cards are built from. So you can attach it and have the grades drop right over into PowerSchool as well. That video is available on this website that you found this video, and also available on the website with tutorials for PowerSchool. On the left, you'll also see a link to Grade Setup. You'll definitely, at the beginning of the school year, want to click on it. There's another video inside the tutorial page for Schoology that walks you through how to set up your gradebook in Schoology. Another link you might be interested in is the Members link. Inside here, you can see all of the students that are listed in your course. You can also add members if you need to. This is great if you need to add another co-teacher to the course. If you have some students with special needs that have aides that come to the class and help, you might want to add those aides as co-teachers to the course. So you just click Add Members. You would search for the name of that teacher and click Add Member, and it'll drop it in on your member list. And then you can make them an admin by clicking on the little gear on the right. That gives them rights to view Schoology the same way that you do. The final piece I'd like to show you is over here under your picture, your course picture, which you can edit. A lot of our teachers create thumbnails for their courses in Canva, and then they will come and upload them over here so the students have a easily identifiable picture for the course. But underneath this, where it says course options, if you click it and then click edit privacy and course settings, there's one other piece that you might want to know about, and it is right down here at the bottom under course view settings. We have two different themes for students, secondary and elementary. The secondary setup has smaller folders and text on the materials page for students. The elementary setting has larger icons that are more visual based. It's just a more user-friendly interface for younger students. So if you are an elementary teacher, you might want to consider changing the setting to elementary, and it only changes the setting for your students. It does not change your view, so your view is going to remain the same. But that's something that you can experiment with students and see what they think about the secondary and elementary settings. I hope this orientation has helped a little bit. If you have any questions about Schoology at all, you can email me at rachel.brockman@trustfulcityschools.com.